When you think of Laurie, what picture comes to mind? Kind, thoughtful, generous. I can go on, but I'm going to go with smart. Laurie was the smart, brainy one of the family. She was a great mentor for all of us.
Laurie tried to instill culture in her younger siblings. Once she took me to the Whitney Museum. She tried her hardest, she exhausted herself trying to instill some art culture in me. And all I remember is getting pretzels on the way home from the street vendor.
Because Laurie was the oldest, she always got like different and better things. My earliest recollection was she went to a different school. We all go to St. Vincent's. Laurie went to St. Boniface. And the first time I went to the church, it was round. Churches aren't supposed to be round. They're supposed to be square like St. Vincent's. Even her church was special. Laurie went to the Mary Lewis Academy, private all-girls school in Queens. Not to be confused with Mary Lewis Academy in Paris, France. This was the Mary Lewis Academy. And she was in a lot of activities. She used to play guitar in a folk band, so I remember her in the kitchen playing the guitar. She was in a play where she was the little drummer girl. And so she's drum, 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 yeah, everyone loves Laurie. And then she was a cheerleader too. So we'd go on Sundays, what every kid wants to do, and watch her in cheerleader competitions.
When I think of Laurie, I think of goodness and kindness and compassion. I was probably the worst 9th birthday present you received.
The stories about Laurie when she was young, Laurie was 11 when I was born, so I don't have young stories about her. But my memory is Laurie took me to my first day of kindergarten. And I think Mom was in the hospital and Dad must have been busy, so she was probably in college. And I had my big sister take me to my first day of kindergarten, and I was so happy. I remember all the kids were crying, and I had my big sister there.
I picture Laurie in a panic state, fretting about getting Thanksgiving dinner on the table or getting my invoices out for TVG, or when we went to London, she wanted to make sure everything was perfect, and she fretted about every restaurant we went to and if every second of the day was booked. So Laurie is the consummate fretter of the family. I'm probably second though.
Do you remember those double desks Daddy made for us for the bedrooms in Elmont? Well, I can always picture Laurie sitting there studying, doing homework, nights, weekends, all the time. My side of the desk was usually unoccupied. That said, Laurie's the reason I went to college. My brainy, smart older sister was going to college. How could I not? So thank you, Laurie, for making me go to college.
None of us got to go to private high school. There wasn't the money. It all went to Laurie, but it was worth it. It paid off. So Laurie goes off to college. Laurie's in Queens College studying history. I think she had an English minor. Who studies history? That's to be avoided, not studied.
Laurie's the ultimate caregiver. Our whole lives she took care of us. And when we went to London as adults, the first morning we got there, she exchanged all our money. She passed out subway passes and maps, and then she proceeded to take us to all the sights of London, and we followed her like little ducks in a row. It was the best time, best vacation ever. Thank you, Laurie.
My favorite memories are probably around London, when we went as siblings to visit you, and we all were on the subway and you realized we were going the wrong way, and we all hopped off and followed behind you like little ducklings. It was such an amazing trip. You were such a wonderful and gracious hostess.
When I think of Laurie, I think of Laurie's high school senior graduation photo with the sheet around the neck. I think they had white. They all looked so glamorous, and she had that dippity patty duke dippity do hair, and so serious, so solemn, so beautiful. That's the picture I think of when I think of Laurie.
Laurie and I took 3 trips in our college years, 2 during spring break, 1 after college. The first one during spring break was to Puerto Rico, and Laurie decided that we could save money if we brought our own food. So we packed a suitcase full of saltines and jelly and who knows what else. It was gross. I don't think we lasted 1 day on that food, and we did splurge and buy meals.
When she was a kid, she was a Girl Scout. And then once a year, they'd have the big Girl Scout cookie sale. And she'd be there going out with a little sash with all the badges on. And there's Kathy in tow. Not as many badges, not exactly lined up so neatly, but out they would go. And then we'd get deliveries of all these cookies in the living room, our little living room, filled to the ceiling with boxes and boxes of cookies. We're sitting there eating crappy fruit cup for dessert, 12 ounces divided by 8 people. And there's a half a ton of cookies sitting right there in the living room. Drove me crazy.
The other thing I think of when I think of Laurie, I don't know if everybody remembers this, but I shared a room with Laurie for a short period of time. Not 10th Street, I'm talking about back in Elmont. And we shared the back bedroom on the second floor, and I would go to bed, and she would turn on a little lamp and sit at that long desk and work. And I would see her eyelashes and her eyeballs going back and forth. And I just have such a clear memory of that. Isn't that funny?
After college, we went to Europe. I've been to Europe 3 times, all with Laurie. The first time in college, and then in recent years, twice, when Laurie and Gary opened up their London home to us. So thank you, Laurie, for all my wonderful European memories.
Laurie was the first one to get a car. And my father negotiated a $400 price with a guy a block and a half away, Mr. Forte. And he was writing out the check because Mom was going to get the car the next day. And Mom says, don't write the $400 in. I'll negotiate with him. Of course, she didn't negotiate. We paid the $400. So Laurie was the owner of this beautiful 63 blue-green Chevy Impala, enormous. And I remember one time she had to take us to the beach, and I'm sure she was thrilled to take all the kids, all of us in tow. And we pull up to the gas station and we get $2 of gas, like 8 gallons, which probably just got us to Jones Beach. Laurie was our personal employment counselor. She was the first to get a job at Blue Chip Cleaners. Then she got Kathy in on the job. And then she got Beth in on the job working with Jerry at Blue Chip Cleaners. But Beth left one day. She said, I'm going to have a lot of different jobs in my life. Then she went to work for Jesse for the next 43 years. So, and then Laurie also gets a job over at Long Island Jewish switchboard operator. Union job. The families are aghast at how much money she's making. And she wedges Kathy in, so she was a trailblazer. Then Laurie enters the workforce, and she's working at First Boston, a woman in a big financial company. And every morning she would get up, and then the smell of Gina would permeate the whole house. You're sitting there, you're trying to eat your crappy eggs for breakfast. You're hoping you're near a window so you can get some fresh air when off she goes to work.
What do I picture when I picture Laurie? I picture Laurie and I using a paintbrush to spread roach powder in the 10th Street apartment at the baseboard moldings to keep the roaches away. But the reason I bring it up is I was taking perfect lessons, living with her, and we laughed our heads off because we were saying that we needed to teach Nikki Gottlieb these perfect lessons because you haven't lived until you've spread roach powder to keep the roaches away in a 4-floor walk-up apartment that was quite the lap of luxury. Anyway, as I say that in an endearing way, we love that place. And
when we worked together at TVG, when she decided that she wanted something to do and it would be a little side business for her, and I don't know, that was a special time because it was just launching, and then it kind of grew into something that neither of us thought would be what it is. So I think it's that. And then I think it's also funny that she moved to London and she thought she was going to get out of work at TVG, but I had her hang on for another 3 years. So that was, I don't think she was anticipating that. So thanks.
Mom never believed in buying an empty glass like they sell in the stores. All the glasses we had in the house had something in them prior to being glasses. The orange juice glasses were Saucy Susan. They had shrimp in them. Our regular glasses we had were jelly glasses. We used to get them on. Sometimes Flintstones, was a big treat. But mostly they were just glasses that had food in them. And then we'd pop the lid and then wash them out. And then those became glasses. And If they weren't that, then they had Schlitz emblazoned on them. We had barware. That's everything we had for glasses. Our plates, Shell Station. Fill up the gas, and we got a new set of plates. That was it. And the encyclopedia, it came from the grocery store. Every week or every month, you would buy one encyclopedia. It would take like 2 years. If you had a school project like on the presidents, you prayed you didn't get Washington and you got Adams, because we weren't going to have Washington for another 19 months, the W's. So I don't know. But Laurie, she knew how to navigate the system.
Happy 70th birthday, Laurie. Love you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Laurie. We love you. You are the best older sister anybody could ever ask for. Happy birthday.
And finally, Laurie, happy birthday. The best sister I could possibly wish for. The best older sister.
Thanks, Laurie. And happy birthday, my beautiful sister. I love you dearly. And I can't wait to celebrate with you and the entire family. Love you.
And I wish you the very best birthday. We love you, and I hope your day is fabulous.
Funny. Anyway, Laurie, we all love you so much. You're such an inspiration and role model for all of us. And I'm so happy that even though I'm 11 years younger, I have you in my life, and we get to have fun times together and travel and do things. And happy, happy birthday. We love you. Mwah.
It was the only science project Dad ever did. And that got handed down to Kathy, to Beth, to me. It was shown so many times. No. And to me, it was shown so many times at St. Vincent's. The nuns called the diploma.